Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakaha, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone who woo well. Peace and salutations unto the elect of the nation of Israel. This is your brother Ayash Kabar from the GMS Virginia camp, coming at you with another lesson that I pray that you find edifying through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. And, the drums of war is definitely heating up. Very soon, the saying that the book of Matthew spoke about in terms of you should hear wars and rumors of wars. Well, that rumor is now starting to show its face, because very soon it's no longer going to be a rumor. It's going to be an actual thing, that's going to happen. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. War is inevitable, because Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai deemed it so, and that's exactly what we're seeing. Last week, or maybe a week and a half ago, you had that small hat, Benjamin Netanyahu, he came over here, and flexed his muscles, and in front of Congress, and essentially, the moment he left, bombs started raining down on Iran. So, the things are definitely heating up. The prophecies are definitely in effect. And one of these prophecies that are important, or that is important, is this World War III, which is going to lead into the nuclear destruction of Babylon the Great, and also over there in Israel. So, a lot of things is happening, and, a lot of your children, are starting to get these letters in the mail stating that, they're going to be drafted, and if you're not willing to be drafted, it's going to be a $250,000 fine and 5 years in jail, or 5 years in jail, or both. So, the things are definitely heating up. And let's not forget about how these women are also a part of this as well. You know what I'm saying? Because very soon, the pride and the haughtiness of Babylon the Great is on the verge of being brought very low. Because the mentality of the people is they don't want to do this, but their leaders are putting them in a position where they have to. Their leaders have actually opened up the floodgates and allowed, immigrants to come in who are about to do some very mucked up things, and it's going to pull upon the heartstrings of Babylon the Great, to go to war, because Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai deemed it so, but I got an article here from shithitthefanplan.com, and the title of it reads, "The U.S. is not prepared to fight one major war, but 3 major wars are rapidly approaching." So they don't even have enough troops to fight 3 major wars. You got that war over there in Ukraine. You got that Taiwan, you got North Korea, you got Iran. You got all these wars going on at one time, and very soon there's going to be a war over here in Babylon the Great as well. They don't have enough troops, to manage or even win this war. But the pride of thine heart has deceived thee, thou who dwellest in the clefts of the rocks, because these elites actually think that they're going to be able to pull this off. Why? Because their pride is actually blinding them, because quite actually, this is the very last time, or the very last opportunity, that they will be able to do something like this. This is the last step that they need to get done in order to fulfill their NWO. You know, they need this to happen. They need everything to collapse around them. They need the destruction in the mind. Well, they need the mindset destruction of the people, because the people are starting to get wind of what's going on, and they can't have that, because an educated people, to them, is a very, how should I say, is a very problematic people. Because once these people realize that, you know, it's all for bullshucks, they've lost their control of the people. So they need these things to happen, and let alone, you know, you got the prophets of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai out there on the highways and byways telling you, or telling them as well, of these things that are about to come. You know? So we're witnessing the fall of a great kingdom, and we're witnessing the rise of an even greater kingdom that is going to last forever. So this was dated August 2nd, 2024, and I'm going to read a little bit of the article, and, you know, I'm going to break out some precepts. And it reads, what in the world has happened to our military? When I was growing up, I was proud, and there's that pride demon again. I was proud that my father was an officer in the U.S. Navy. At that time, we possessed the most powerful military in the entire world by a wide margin. And as a result, nobody wanted to mess with us. But now everything has changed, and that's less than 20 years ago. That mindset, in terms of being the most powerful military on the face of the earth, isn't too long ago. You know, you're talking about less than a generation ago, where, you know, these Egyptians had the most powerful military in the world. That's true. Our military has been transformed into a woke joke. And we all saw what happened during the absolutely disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan. We desperately need to get our act together because war is coming. So if you feel as though you need to get your act together, then sign up, join the military, and make it happen, Captain. You know, and that's one thing that a lot of people don't do. Although his father was a military man, get your ass out there and be where he was. You know, I don't know if, you know, he was ever in the military or not, but nonetheless, a lot of people like to sit back and say our military is weak, but they don't join the military. Because war is coming. In fact, we could soon find ourselves fighting multiple wars simultaneously. Unfortunately, a study that was just released by a congressional panel concluded that we are not even ready to fight one major war at this point. And you're not. And you're not, because the mighty men have become weak. You know, you have actually raised a generation of men raised by women. And that was not by mistake. That was on purpose. But what this devil probably didn't understand is that it was going to affect him militarily as well. You know, here it is, me speaking as a man. This devil probably wanted a weak household, but not realizing that that weak household would produce weak military men. And now he's looking for he's looking for men to fight in his bankers' wars, and there aren't any who's willing to do so. Which is why, you know, you've got to incorporate women into this battle. Because a lot of these women actually think that they fucking G.I. Jane. And a lot of these women are going to be destroyed in that. A lot of these women who actually think that, you know, they have what it takes, you know, to join the military. They have another thing coming. Those women who are in the military at this time might possibly be put on the front line once, you know, a lot of these men are destroyed in these wars. Because if you join the military at this point, you're not coming back home at all. You're not coming back home. You get wounded out there, you might have to see a medic or whatever, but your ass is going right back out there on the front line as a Crip. You might lose your right hand, you know, and that might be your shooting hand. Shit, you got a left one. Make it happen. You know, and that goes to show you how, you know, these people don't care about your well-being. They don't care about you vets. They don't care about you military soldiers. They don't even care about the people. So a lot of you people who actually join the military, you're not coming home. Reading on, the U.S. military is no longer prepared to fight in a major war, according to a new study conducted by a congressional panel. Though it treats the U.S. Though the threats the U.S. is facing are the most serious and most challenging, it has seen in almost a century, the U.S. defense base is not equipped to meet the U.S. defense base is not equipped to meet the moment, according to a report from the Commission on National Defense Strategy published on Monday. Among the biggest problems outlined in the report are a troubled Pentagon and a failure by the federal government to properly address threats emanating from adversaries like China and Russia. The United States last fought a global conflict during World War II, which ended nearly 80 years ago. The nation was last prepared to fight such a fight during the Cold War, which ended 35 years ago. It is not prepared today, the Commission report reads. So, the greatest of the mighty men actually fought in the older wars. World War I, World War II, where, you know, these mighty men of Babylon the Great actually had to get out there in the trenches, you know, and fight what they call trench wars. Guerrilla warfare, you know. But now, ever since, you know, the war has moved over into the fucking desert, you know, hey, man, shit, you know. Things have changed. Men have become soft. Men have become weak, sissified. Just playing. But true. Men have become sissified. How was this possible? It was all by design. We spent $820 billion on national defense during the most recent fiscal year. And that $820 billion was not spent bigging up your men in the military to become men. That money was spent on missiles and bullets and rockets and planes and tanks and jeeps and this and that, robots and others. That's where a lot of that money was spent. That money was spent making what is called a robotic war, autonomous war. And in this autonomous war, what Babylon the Great has actually done was put technology at the forefront of fighting wars. So when you put technology at the forefront of fighting wars, you lose that mighty men mentality, because now all it takes is a kid who's been playing video games damn near all his life, you know, to sit inside of a cargo box and you know, navigate drones and shit like that. He's away from the war, you know. He hasn't seen, or, you know, he hasn't had, you know, the drops of brain matter spewed upon his uniform. He hasn't seen, you know, a man's leg blown off in real time, or this, that, or the other, you know. And if he does see it, he's seeing it on a screen that emulates a video game, you know. So it's a different mentality that, you know, a lot of these soldiers have, you know, that sit back in cargo boxes and operate these drones, because to them it's the video game. Because the video game shows the same gore, it shows the same destruction upon the body that they're seeing on screen. And what they're missing is that realism, that, you know, those cries, you know, that last for hours. Because while war is still going on, those men who are being destroyed are still screaming, they're still crying. They're still asking for help, you know? And when you're behind a drone and you're listening, when you're behind the screen operating a drone and you know, you do something, you could just move that drone on and not even worry about it. In fact, a lot of these drones might not even have speaker systems where you can actually hear the cries. You might see the destruction, but you might not even hear the cries because they have they have headphones on their ears and they're conversing with each other. They're not probably listening to the warfare itself. They don't need to. All they need to do is find their target, drop their whatever, and done. Move on. That's what Babylon the Great has created in terms of its modern warfare. A autonomous war system. Well, now they need troops, and they can't find troops. Now they need men. They can't find men. The closest thing that these military people are actually getting is women. Because a lot of these women are going, to gyms and buffing up and beefing up and looking bigger than men. A lot of these women are running and working out their calisthenics and, high heart rates and shit like that more than men. Sitting their asses out there. Well, that's exactly what's about to happen. It's beautiful. Reading on with the article, the commission in a 132-page report released Monday that the U.S. overhaul its national defense strategy and $900 billion defense budget to address recruiting failures. So you can't even get men to join the military, even though you give them large sums of money, because they know it's bullshit. A lot of these men are, I guess, I don't know, are starting to realize that if they join this war, they're not coming home. Reading on with the article, a grossly inadequate industrial base and underfunded cyber and space domains. And there it is. Salakia, everything is moved into the cyber realm and not necessarily the man-on-man realm. I can't find the right word, to describe that, but everything is moved into that social media mindset aspect of shit, where I could do what I want to. I could say anything I want to say away from the people. As long as I got a screen, a keyboard, and a mouse, I could do whatever the fuck I want to. I could be myself behind the screen. That's what everything is moved into. Reading on, the commission was tasked by Congress with analyzing the 2022 defense strategy, which was written prior to Russia's 2022 invasion of Ukraine, and the evolution of the strategic partnership between China and Russia, Iran, and North Korea. And that's not even the end of it. You got African nations joining. You have Turkey might get into it. You got Venezuela. You got all these nations joining the BRICS and like Russia and stuff like that. So their partnership is growing greater while the alliances over here in Babylon the Great is starting to become smaller and smaller. Germany's starting to look at this shit side-eye. France is starting to look at this shit side-eye. Like, hold on one second. This shit is getting the fuck out of hand. You ain't telling me this was in the fucking plan. And if you did, you didn't tell me it was going to get this fucking bad. So a lot of these nations are starting to realize, hold on one second. We really need to sit back and think about what the fuck we doing. Because when it happens, it's going to be bad. And it's going to be so bad that there's going to be the end result is going to be worse than that has ever been upon the face of the earth. And that includes the flood. Man, shit. Make it happen, Captain. Reading on with the article, there is potential for near-term war and a potential that we might lose such a conflict. Really? Really? That you might lose? No, you will lose, according to Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. All this shit's about to be dead-eyed. Everything's about to be nullified. You're at the end of your rope. you have seen the rise and the fall. Well, you have heard about the rise of a powerful nation, and now you're witnessing the fall of a very powerful nation. And it's a beautiful thing, you know, to actually see the fall of your enemies. There are 9 things, and the fall of your enemies is one of them. That we might lose such a conflict. Eric Edelman, vice chairman of the Commission on National Defense Strategy, told senators. But they don't care. They don't care. You know, you can tell your senators all you want, but at the end of the day, they get their orders from up top. And when they get their orders from up top, they got to go through with them. You know what I'm saying? And they're going to go through with them. Reading on. Let me see. In the days following 9/11, our military was swamped with more eager recruits than they could possibly handle. But now it has become very difficult to convince young people to join our woke military. In particular, male enlistments is way, way down because these people know what happened during that time of 9/11. You know, that information is already out there about how it was all bullshit. And when these military men came back from over there, you know, I'm pretty sure that they told their friends and their families how bullshit it was, you know, how they were probably monitoring the oil fields and the poppy fields and the this and the that. Crates of money gone, crates of gold gone, artifacts disappeared or destroyed. These men seen these things, and these men had probably come back over here, you know, to Babylon the Great, and told their friends it was all bullshit. And their friends who were over here probably heard the bullshit, and they both collaborated and was like, nah, man, you know, I ain't sending my kids over there. Fuck that. And that's exactly the sentiment that you know, you're getting right now. A lot of these military men are starting to be like, nah, fuck that. I ain't sending my kids over there to fight your war the way you sent me over there to fight your war. Come on, man. These people are somewhat woke. Well, I said that they woke to the bullshit about how a lot of them got destroyed. But now, you know, the things have changed. You know what I'm saying? It's somewhat an even playing field. Actually, it's probably not even a playing field, you know. A lot of these countries that they thought wasn't shit are now shit. You know, the weak is now saying I am strong. The weak is now saying I got what you got. And you need what I need. Oh, come on, man. Babylon the Great is fucked. I'm going to read a little bit more of the article. The issue is concerning men to put on the uniform. A decade of declining recruitment numbers for the Army is almost entirely attributed to a single drop in the male recruiting, as female enlistments have maintained relatively flat. Internal service data reviewed by military.com shows since 2013, male enlistments have dropped 35%, going from 58,000 men enlisting in 2013 to 37,700 in 2023. Shit, that's almost half, according to the service data. Meanwhile, female recruitment has hovered around 10,000 recruits each year. So you got more women. Well, you know, you still have a consistency in terms of women joining the military, which is why it's weak. A woman was never intended to fight in war. A woman's role was to maintain the family, maintain the kids while the men went to war, take care of the house, take care of the men's responsibilities in terms of the household while he was going fighting the war. You know? And in that, you had a family structure that helped maintain the integrity of the house. You don't have that no more. A man goes to war, the wife is home alone, managing 3 or 4 fucking badass children. So, I'm going to break out a few precepts. You know, this is a pretty good article. out of shithitthefanplan.com. But I'm going to break out a few scriptures out of the book of Jeremiah, chapter 50 and verse 35. A sword is upon the Chaldeans, saith Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and upon the inhabitants of Babylon, and upon her princes, and upon her wise men. These people actually think that what they're doing is going to prosper in the end, but it's not. Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is going to rain destruction on these wicked motherfuckers while they're eating. In terms of the elite, it's going to rain fire upon these people because the pride of these people has reached unto heaven, man. Starting out with this article, the author of this article said, I was proud to have my father in the military. Well, that pride is about to get you destroyed. That pride that a lot of people have in terms of their military is going to be brought real low. In fact, it is being brought real low because these other nations are starting to realize that you're a joke. Your fear factor has dwindled. Why? Because you may have had the Gatling gun. Well, now they built a Gatling gun to match your Gatling gun. You may have this technology that helped you 20 years ago. Well, now they have that technology. To help them in this time to match what the fuck you got. So, these other nations are now saying, I am strong. Because they see what you got. And they got the same shit. And these, these people who actually make these laws and what are supposed to rule the people to make wise decisions have been proven to be idiots. They've been proven to not be as wise as they led on to be. And these other nations are starting to see that too. These other nations are starting to say, well, hold on a second, why the fuck are we following these people? Their path is destruction. As long as we follow them, we're still subject to them. Nah, fuck that. We're going to break off. We're going to do our own thing as our own nation. The book of Jeremiah, chapter 50, jumping down to verse 36. A sword is upon the liars, and they shall dote. A sword is upon her mighty men, and they shall be dismayed. Because, again, the pride that this place have actually had in thinking that it had a strong military is gone. It's gone. The prophets seen this 20, 30 years ago. And now the people are starting to realize that today, that their military might is no longer mighty anymore because they've been stretched too thin. They've lost the technological military race. They no longer have it. These other nations have it. You got countries like China developing shit that, is on par with Babylon has. I'm not saying that Babylon the Great hasn't been developing weapons and newer technologies and stuff like that. No, I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is these other nations are starting to build up what they have to counteract with what this has. And plus, another thing that they have is camaraderie between each nation to become stronger. Something that Babylon the Great is losing. Every time it does something to a allied nation, the allied nations start to look at Babylon like, yo, hold on a second. I thought we was cool. These other nations are starting to wake up too. And the military is going to be dismayed because they're going to sit back and think that they're going to be able to depend upon their military equipment. And that's going to be cut down real quick. There's going to be a great slaughter in the valley of Jehoshaphat. Babylon the Great is going to have to go through multiple recruitment phases. Multiple. And when I say multiple, I mean a lot. Because a lot of these men are going to be pulled off the streets to fight these wars. Abroad and at home. The scriptures tell you so. Jumping down to verse 37. A sword is upon their horses, and upon their chariots, and upon all the mingled people that are in the midst of her. And that's over here in Babylon the Great. You're going to have these Red Dawn events going on where, these troops are coming over here and invading the unwalled villages. And also, you know, the nuclear destruction is going to come and destroy this place, period. The 10th part of this place is going to be destroyed, period. You know, and that's the whole of Babylon through nuclear destruction. And upon all the mingled people that are in the midst of her, and they shall become as women. A sword is upon her treasures, and they shall be robbed. And that's exactly what's going to happen through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. This place is going to be destroyed on a level that, you know, the other nations are going to be like, yo, hold on 1 second. This shit is bad. How the fuck did we get here? Well, I'll tell you how you got here, you know. These Egyptians have done the work of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai to take peace from the earth. Anyhow, I like to end up on that. You know, I pray that you find this article edifying. You know what I'm saying? Because you're now entering a time where, you know, these nations are, you know, about to let it happen. You know, and so with that, I'd like to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakah HaKodash, Shalom.